what kind of things have you adopted into your personal life in terms of longevity, whether it's diet, technologies, whatever it is? What does Sergey use in his everyday life? So if you can share, give us some tips here.
Let me give you 5. Okay. Number 1 is the medical screening. The most important day of your life today is not your birthday these days, right? It's a day of your medical screening, because the power of machines that we use, the power of AI, like, full body MRI, it's the AI there give you 98, 99% of chances to detect the risk of early stage cancer. I think it's extremely important. You should be as preventive as possible. And people ask me, like, how expensive is that? And I'm like, get the figure from your provider and then compare this with the amount of money you spend on your car per annum. We spend on our cars 10, 20 times more than we spend on our health. Like, come on, guys. So that's extremely important, number 1. Number 2, I don't make stupid choices in terms of my personal safety and security. And I know it sounds very like my mom told me that, right? But I know countries when people just don't use seatbelts. And using the seatbelt in all situations is like plus 2 years to your life. Smoking is minus 10 years from your life. Statistically, smoking is like cancer lottery, right? You just, you play every time you take a cigarette. And I can tell you, like, I'm like 51. And the peak of, sales of motorcycles are at, and it's usually for the male, and it's for someone who just turned 45. So if you looked at Harley Davidson statistics, it's like that 45, boom, and then it goes back. So driving motorcycle is 17 times more mortal and dangerous than driving the car. Okay, this just is, and I can go on and on. And then number 3 and 4 and 5 are more in the field of lifestyle. So 1 is the diet. There's a lot of disagreement in scientific field what extends your life, but it's only one agreement, that caloric restriction, so decreasing the number of calories you take every day by 15 to 25%, gonna add 2, 3, and even 5 healthy and happy years to your life. I think it's very important. There are a number of avenues that you can take to decrease your calories. Like, I like fasting, so I fast like 36 hours every week. Some other people do intermittent fasting, when you consume your food in like 6 hours or 8 hours window every 24 hours. You can take, sugar from your diet. I'm actually experimenting. I have, a lot of great friends, and one of them run like 21-day non-sugar marathon. And it's amazing. And I've done a lot in my life, but this is like just taking out all the sugar for 21 days. I'm not telling you.
That includes fruit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, fruit's like, oh my goodness.
So what do you eat? What do you eat during that 21 days usually?
Every time you mention something, I have a story about that. In the last 40 years, in genetic modification, the concentration of fructose in the fruit increased by a factor of 3 to 5 times. So the fruits that we eat today is not the fruits that we kind of saw 40, 50 years ago. So I do a lot of meat and fish, organic sources. Fish should be wild. I'm not going to go into the details of fish farming.
I'm 100% with you on that. In my family, we only eat wild caught, no farm raised. And you can can tell by the color even when you go to the store.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And then a lot of vegetables, and I love red wine. So like every Saturday I have like a glass or 2 red wine as well, but not during non-sugar shower. So that's on the diet front. And obviously, like, I drink only water, like tea. And for coffee, I'm like so receptive to caffeine. So I do only decaffeinated coffee, and it changed my life. I can have 2 or 3 espresso a day. It smells the same, tastes the same, but just you don't have this caffeine rush. Then number 4 is exercise. Yeah, go ahead, Omar.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. I was totally agreeing with you. I love coffee, but I saw in your book, something you recommend, which I encourage, especially our reps who listen, they drink a lot of coffee. don't have any coffee early in the morning. Don't do it after 4 p.m. because like, first of all, it's going to mess up your sleep. And then early in the morning, you have these adenosine receptors that haven't worn off. The moment you have coffee on top of it, it's going to stay there. And then you end up having a crash and you just drink more and more coffee.
Absolutely.
Like, I think caffeine's okay, but have a little bit of it,
Yeah, I think actually, like, knowing what I know about the way they do like decaffeinated coffee, it still have like 20-25% of caffeine, right? So I think I could think about this as like a milder version of caffeine drink. Yeah. And then you're right. And this is number 5 out of 5. I call it peace of mind. And it starts with the hard stuff called sleep. So I use Oura Ring, as you can see here, to measure my sleep.
I saw your Oura, yeah. I use Whoop.
Okay, great. Have it here. Nice. I think the most amazing thing is just to establish the feedback loop, right? So every morning you'd like to look at your like deep sleep numbers, REM numbers, like quality of sleep numbers, and to like, what have I done last night or yesterday? Like, late dinner, glass of wine, too much caffeine, went to bed at 1 a.m. Like, so my numbers are so miserable. And at the moment you establish that, your life change, because then you can make it. So, and I remember the quote, it is in my book. The quote is like, every evening we can visit the most powerful clinic in the world. We go to bed and we sleep. And I think it's important. My rule is like 8 hours in the bed, 7 hours of sleep. And then obviously like meditating, because we obviously like over attacked by information, stress, decisions that we need to make, in our life. So meditation and sense of purpose, right? If you are unhappy, you don't need, extra days and years to your life. So this whole longevity premise is based that, you're giving more than you take from this world. And you just be kind, be a good person, share the best with you with the world, and you're going to be fine.